Hi guys, welcome to my channel Science in Science Fiction, and I'm here today after seeing a very nice film, documentary. I'll post the link below, so be sure to see it. It's a 2-hour long film, so if you're into this stuff, take your popcorn, take anything you want, but I will assure you this is very interesting. It starts off slow, but it develops as it goes along. After a half an hour or something, I think a half an hour, things start getting really interesting, and by interesting I mean strange, because I like very much how they did the presentation. They didn't assume anything. Like, they have some strange pictures and they didn't assume, oh, this is a flying saucer or this is a tower or anything like that. They just pointed out that this is a strange structure, or this is a strange shadow, or something like that. And that's the way the film went on, and the people in the audience and us, the viewers, can draw out our own hypothesis about what those objects are. But to break it down, to break the video down, it starts talking about NASA in the first part, and that NASA has been covering up information, and I have no doubt about that. It starts talking about Mars and the possibility of life being on Mars, bacterial life, not intelligent life. Talks about the possibility of water being on Mars. It then starts to talk about strange structure on Mars. Again, doesn't label them. Then it starts talking about the moon of Mars. It goes on to Saturn, its moons. It even talks a little bit about the moon, our moon. And it ends up with the sun. Now, I've personally found the last part, the last 20 minutes, very interesting. The last part about the sun, because there aren't many films, many documentaries about the sun itself. So I found that very interesting, but the rest of the movie is interesting as well. So let me break it down. First part about NASA. They showed that NASA, they are trying to show, not actually show, that NASA is altering pictures, that in fact the lighting on Mars isn't that red. In fact, the sky may be somewhere close to our sky. I don't know if I believe that, and it is of no importance whatsoever, because I don't care if the sun or if the sky on Mars is red or blue. I personally don't care. What I care is if we can go there and live there. That's what I care about. So arguing that NASA altered pictures to show the sky as being red, not blue, means nothing. Because even though they are talking about in this film about the sky being blue on Mars, they agree with the idea that life cannot be sustained on Mars. So if you agree with the idea that life cannot be sustained on Mars, same as NASA, then why the hell should we care about a blue sky or a red sky? Oh, if you are saying, well, the sky is blue, thus life, oxygen exists and life can be sustained, oh yes, I would be interested, because that would mean that NASA is hiding that life could actually exist there. But when you say, we agree with NASA, life cannot be sustained on Mars, but the sky is actually blue, who the hell cares? I personally don't care. However, they did have some interesting points. And the first point is that Mars is like a little brother to Earth. It's 3 times smaller than Earth, and its gravity is presumed to be a third of the Earth's gravity. But the calculus is not that precise. It could be a third, it could be a fifth, but nowhere higher than that. So, as I stated in one of my previous videos, life on Mars would be very different from life on Earth. Even if we were to bring colonists there and build some kind of domes, you can imagine that a steel door or a steel ram in Mars, if it weighs 20 tons on Earth, it will weigh less than 10 on Mars. So building materials, an architect could easily tell you that they will have to recalculate all the forces involving in building a dome or anything like that, because the forces do not align if the gravity doesn't align. So you would need to send somebody there to take a specific reading of the gravity. Then you need a specific sample of the terrain, see how stable the terrain is, and then an architect could actually tell you how to build a building that would be stable on Mars. Not only that, but life there is going to be a little bit disorienting, because you are used to living in this gravity, and that gravity is 3 times weaker. So daily life would be affected, as I stated before. Now, that was the first part. The second part is that between the year 1960 and today, more than 59 probes have been sent to Mars. Most of them to orbit around Mars. Curiosity, the latest one, is actually the one that is driving around Mars. But most of them have orbited Mars. Unfortunately, most of them had malfunctions and or either crashed or went into oblivion in space, and the footage was lost. If you believe that, fine. But we do have pictures coming from Mars, and the first pictures from Mars were Viking 1 and Viking 2 in 1976. They were actually sent to orbit Mars and take pictures for signs of life. So that was their job, to search for signs of extraterrestrial life on Mars. And they took thousands of pictures. And you can search for them on net, some on the internet. Some of them are showing in this film. And another thing I like about this film is that whenever they give a picture, they show a picture in the presentation, they also give the link to it. So if you have the patience to copy the link into your browser, because you cannot click on it since it's a film, then you will see what they're talking about. And I did that, and it actually doesn't show you the zoomed picture as they show in the film. They show the entire panel, and it looks even weirder than they make it seem. So just take a look if you have the patience. However, I do have to point out that there were a few pictures that they didn't give links for, and that was very dubious. But excluding those, I think 2 or 3 pictures, the rest of them look genuine and are from the NASA website, most of them. So I don't know. There are some pretty strange shapes out there. Now, the thing that bugs me the most is that Viking 1 and 2 were sent to Mars during 1976, and Curiosity has been sent to Mars in 2012-2013, so recently. However, the pictures from Curiosity look exactly the same, maybe a little better resolution, but almost the same as the pictures from 1976 from the Vikings. So what the hell? We have cameras now, digital cameras, digital photo. We have cameras on our phones. We have 4 gigabyte cameras that are this small. Can't you do something with the rover? It costs over $1 billion to send it there. At least put a video camera on it. I know that it's going to take a damn long time to send a stream down to Earth because it's so far away, but at least you will have a video recording. It almost seems impossible that you spend $1 billion to get Curiosity on Mars and you have no video on it, or no color pictures. Stupid. Very stupid. And I don't think that they don't have that. I think they don't show it to us. Like, I actually think that they have 2 separate filming systems on Curiosity. One filming system that is being sent to the website and we can see them, and one that is being sent to the Pentagon or whatever and they can see it. Because it makes no sense to spend $1 billion and not have a proper camera on this rover. Anyway, going forth. In 1976, or was it later? I'm not sure. I didn't write down the year, but they discovered first evidence of bacteria on Mars. Then NASA discredited the search for bacteria because they said that the rover was contaminated when it first went to Mars. Then in 2001, another researcher took the probes from 20 years ago and he examined it again and the soil again, and he proved that there actually were bacteria. So now we have definite proof that there are bacteria in Mars soil. So potential for life. Of course, because the environment isn't suiting for life, we don't actually have life on Mars. But there is a possibility if we terraform it. That's important. Not if the sky is blue or not. If this rock is blacker and this rock is redder. That doesn't matter. The possibility of life on Mars, that's what matters. Okay, and you can see, let me give you the exact minutes where you can see, if you care, what they're talking, the pictures, how the pictures are faked. It's 11 minutes and 40 seconds, and I will place it here. Let me write it down so I don't forget. So 11 minutes and 40 seconds and 14 minutes sharp. That's where they talk about the pictures and how NASA altered them. Also later on, when they looked at Mars through their satellites, apparently some heated parts, some parts of the planet were more heated. You can look this at minute 27, 27.20 and minute 29.50. No, sorry, I got it wrong. So I just jumped because I read something else from okay. So they saw some heated parts in Mars atmosphere, and they figured out that those were ammonia, and ammonia is caused by plants. So basically, they were saying that there are plants on Mars, but that was never proved. Although now we have a rover on Mars, and we can prove that if they want to release that information for the populace. Anyway, on the minute 27.20. We see a strange rock that looks like a skull, so that's very strange. And on 29.50 there's a demonstration of water on Mars, and it looks pretty convincing, I'll tell you that. So they might have water on Mars, and that's the main issue here, because if there is water on Mars, either frozen or gas or liquid form, whatever, you can terraform more easily. Okay. And you can ask yourself a question, and the answer is very logical. We've been to the moon a few times, and in our current time, in 2015, all the trips to the moon have been cancelled. And there is no more interest in the moon. Why is that? Because there's nothing to find on the moon. However, we are spending billions of dollars to get rovers on Mars. Obama even said that he wants to put a man on Mars by 2030. Ask yourself, if there was nothing on Mars, if they didn't discover anything with the previous rovers and the previous satellites, these Vikings, then why would they spend billions upon billions of dollars to get there? They would just abandon it as they abandoned the moon. It makes perfect sense. And they would move to another planet, like, let's say, Jupiter, or a moon of Jupiter, or whatever. But the fact that they are spending so much money and making rovers and wanting to put actual people on Mars, in a sense, proves that Mars has some potential. I don't know what that potential may be, but there's something interesting there that is making the American government spend millions and millions, billions of dollars to get there. And they know it. They have proof of this, because if they didn't have proof of this, the budget would not be signed off. So they have proof. They just don't show us the proof. Going forth, minute 39.10 seconds. You can see some pictures there that show you the changing of the changing of the terrain on Mars from a year to another, from a day to another. The landscape doesn't look the same, and they also draw some patterns. In fact, it's better for you to look. 39.10 seconds. Look at that whole model there, and I'm not saying that those are trees. They don't look like trees. They look very oddly shaped, especially for that gravity. I would expect a tree to go very large in a reduced gravity like that, and these trees seem almost like they were platified. I don't even know if that's a word, but there, I use it. They're too small for that low gravity. They kind of look more like, I don't want to speculate, but they look like tree homes or something like that. Whatever, not speculate. Anyway, interesting. However, as a skeptic, I would have to say that those shadows on those earth those dunes, the shadow on those dunes could not be shadows at all. They could be darker patches of rock. They have no way of telling that that's a shadow. They go from the presumption that that's a shadow, and they build up the trees and the module. But what if they're not shadows? What if they are darker patches of rock? And simply that. You can take it as you want. Now, there are some more interesting stuff, like an hour, 8 minutes and 47 seconds. You can see a picture of the Sphinx, although I'm not sure it's a Sphinx. On an hour, 18 minutes and 30 seconds, they talk about the moon Phobos being hollow, and they bring up some calculations that it might be a spaceship, and NASA, in NASA's own words, Phobos contains vacuums, so it's not full for a moon. On 1 hour 22 minutes and 40 seconds you have an interesting interview from Buzz Aldrin, and you should check that. And getting to the last part at 1 hour 55 minutes, when they talk about the platform that is orbiting the sun, the image is has very poor resolution, and it could easily been altered by them. But it's goddamn interesting. I have to admit that it's goddamn interesting. If something is orbiting the sun, it's not even orbiting, because if it was orbiting it would have to move around the sun, but it's not orbiting, it's in a fixed location around the sun. Very interesting. So, as a conclusion, watch this film, this documentary. It's very interesting if you're into this kind of stuff. But my opinion is that most of the stuff presented here, most of the facts, most of the pictures are irrelevant. I don't care if NASA is altering pictures or not. Sorry, so where was I? Yeah, I don't care if NASA alters pictures that show me if the sky is blue or not, if this rock is darker or not. I care about the pictures that show structures which can indicate that there has been life on Mars and on other planets, because there certainly isn't now. I care about water and bacteria discovery in the soils, and that's it. I would actually, if I was president of America, I would actually give $1 billion not to put another rover on Mars, but to search for a method, a solution to transform the gases from Mars, the gases that are in the atmosphere, because now we know that there are certain gases in the atmosphere. Curiosity has given us at least that information. So it put $1 billion to create a plant, a power plant or factory, something that could actually be constructed on Mars, that could actually terraform and create an atmosphere. However, just saying that, I realized that the project itself can be done. However, the work behind it is tremendous. Tremendous is a small word for it. You would have to carry materials there, iron and everything, because I don't think that you can find alloys. No, what am I even saying? You don't have alloys on Mars. You have to prepare them here and carry them there. There have to be multiple trips there. You have to have a power source, and a power source could be wind on Mars. But in order for you to harvest wind, you have to build windmills. Again, the same problem. You have to carry materials, and you will need a power source. So you don't actually have a power source. You don't have something to work with, because you need power tools to build any kind of building. To build a windmill, you will need to have power tools, and you don't have the power in the first place. And you cannot carry fuel there, because in order to get the fuel into the upper atmosphere, to take the fuel off of Earth, it actually consumes more fuel than you're bringing. So it's not feasible to do that. And I don't know. I don't know what you can use as a power source on Mars. Except if you have really strong batteries that you can charge here on Earth and probably build a very small windmill with the power tools charged by the batteries, build it in a few days. I'll put it together from parts that you carry over there, and then you will have something like that. But again, that's tremendous work. You will need at least 10 trips to Mars and back, and we don't have that. So all of our research, what we're doing now, if there are aliens, if there are not aliens, it doesn't matter if we find water, if we find bacteria. As long as we don't have a good way of traveling there, we won't be able to terraform. And everything else is just sci-fi at the moment. Because I'm pretty sure that in the next 20-40 years we'll get there. I'm pretty sure that in my lifetime we're going to see some incredible changes. But that's that. Watch the movie. I liked it. I'll give it let's say 8 out of 10. Very good movie. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a nice day.